Hey, good morning. Happy Saturday. What a beautiful day to be alive. It's just spring-like weather here in Warrentown. It's going to be up in the upper 50s today. And it was a beautiful day yesterday, but the winds were really powerful. And so I always take the winds as a sign of change. It cleans the air, cleans the space, and it's full of blessings. So I'm doing this on my phone. I did this last Saturday on my computer, and I discovered that I couldn't read any comments. I couldn't see anybody. So I found that the phone works best, and so I'm doing that. Now, this morning I feel really, really good, and I've had my bath. I do my bath with my aged urine, and I spritz it on and rub it in, and it feels so good. It's just like amazing how good it feels to. Hey, good morning, Michelle. And yeah, last night I had the opportunity. It was a real privilege and a pleasure to be a guest on Lula Live, and she is so delightful. What a charmer she is. And she broadcasts every Friday night at 9 p.m. And we hung out for a couple hours, talked a lot about UT, and by the end she said, well, I guess I'm ready. You know, I mean, she's been considering the urine therapy for a while, but by the time we were done, she says, yeah, I guess it's time to get started. And I thought that was just wonderful. She's so sweet. And yeah, I spent a lot of time talking about UT. And she has a good audience and a growing channel, and yeah, that was a real privilege. So yeah, you found it on YouTube. Yeah. I posted it up on the YouTube. I posted it in the on my pages as well. The links are there, and yeah, I really support her and her mission. She finds really interesting guests, and so yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. Great way to spend a Friday night. And so here we are, Saturday morning. And I choose Saturday mornings because when I was a child growing up, Saturday morning was all about cartoons. That's what I am. I'm a cartoon. And that's just the way I see life, man. Everybody, I just find that when we accept the fact that we're all just cartoons, you know, and living in our animation, expressing ourselves, you know, showing our true colors, just being present and accounted for. It's a lot more fun, you know. Life can be really fun. And so, which Looney Tune am I? That's a really good question. Maybe the Wascoey Wabbit. Because I like to run down a lot of holes. I don't know. Which Looney Tune are you? You know, I have former associates and friends, and this one that lived, I worked with him for years, and I learned a lot. We worked in house remodel, and so he taught me a lot. But he was like the Tasmanian devil, man. He'd just like spin. He was always like crazy, man. It was just goofy. And so, you know, I just look at life that way. I just find life to be a real opportunity to be amused, you know. And when we can have muses, and having a muse is nice, but being a muse is also a really healthy choice. So when we are a muse, we can amuse ourselves. And that's a lot of fun. You know, when you're having fun, life is just a lot more smoother. You can enjoy the ride a lot better. There's no sense struggling, you know, and having all these difficulties, and we're all faced with challenges. That's just life itself. I like Sylvester. You know, everybody likes their cartoons. Everybody has their favorites. When I was talking to Lula last night, you know, and I brought this concept into the conversation, she referred to like video games, and so, you know, you know, I'm 64 going on 65, so I grew up with Looney Tunes. I did, and Rocky and Bullwinkle, and there were some very intelligent cartoons. The Rocky and Bullwinkle show was pretty intelligent. It had some really interesting segments in it. But as I grew older as a child, the cartoons changed a lot, and I didn't resonate to them anymore. I mean, I was really, I liked the early cartoons. And, you know, now, I mean, I look at my own children and people that grew up with, you know, The Simpsons and Family Guy and King of the Hill, and, you know, there's so many, you know, Ren and Stimpy, and, you know, whatever. You know, there's so many. Hey, Hendeline. Good morning. So nice to see you today. And God, I love you. I miss you. You know, I want to come back and hang out with you and Rodney. So, yeah, if you look at cartoons and look at the influence they've had generationally, it's really quite phenomenal. You know, and everything is so animated anymore. You look at the look at Hollywood. I mean, this is a really interesting study in itself, because everything has become computer graphics, and cartoons are a big sell. You know, the extended marketing, you know, put it in your Happy Meal, you know, whatever. And so it's a huge conglomerate, you know, that Disney's on the top of the heap, man. You know, people don't realize how powerful of a corporation they are. I mean, their sphere of influence is huge. And, you know, you look at some of the results, you know, you look at some of the artists that came through that system, and kind of what happened to them. There's a lot of tragedy involved in that. You know, young, impressionable, vulnerable child actors that, man, they ended up like, we'll just, you know, like Miley Cyrus, you know, she was Hannah Montana or whatever, you know, cute and adorable and, you know, smart and witty and all those things. But, you know, look what happened to her. You know, I mean, she went from being this sweet, vulnerable, innocent, you know, apparently, you know, child to something mysterious, something that was really, I don't know, concerning to me when I observe, because that's the problem that I faced, and that's the one I see, is that the early vulnerability, you know, our innocence can get jaded. It can really be squashed, be stolen. And it's kind of a tragedy. When you think about your own life, I mean, I look at my life, and now I was a mess. You know, by the time I was, you know, 6 or 5, I was a mess, a real mess. And it took me a long process to recover from those squashed childlike innocence and my sense of wonder and enthusiasm. And that's why at this point, that's what I'm looking for in my life, to resurrect, recreate, get in touch with that childlike enthusiasm every day. Every single day. I want to have that sense of wonder and wake up enthusiastic, you know, be alive every day. Just the magic of waking up and the sun shining, and the desire to play. And every day is a play day. It's just fun. Like, one of the things I'm intending to do, it's just so lovely out today, is I plan on going for a nice long walk. I haven't been walking as much as I like to, because I love to walk. And it's just great exercise, great meditation. And let's see, Michelle is saying, I guess you were staying your son's last September. Yeah, big change, yeah. That was an interesting experience, and I'll talk about that, because that was really a shift for me. I was so enthusiastic. I had just come from the symposium. I was all jazzed, and I just had so much excitement and enthusiasm. And so naturally I was sharing myself. I mean, what else am I going to do? And I don't know, it didn't resonate. My older son, he finally pulled me aside, and he said, Dad, this urine therapy stuff, man, it's pretty weird. You're kind of freaking my girlfriend out. You need to take it down, man. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm being lectured about how to be by my son. I found that curious, and out of respect, I was a guest, so I said, okay, whatever, man, fine. What do you think of those Broncos? This weather's pretty interesting. Have you seen any of the new cars? What do you think about that? But here's the thing, is that if we can't be authentic, if we are not really in touch with our being and being our true selves, then who are we being? That's a good question. That it's a tough one. We have to really look inside, just to really see who we're being, and why. Are we the result of what everybody thinks? Often that's the case. People concern themselves with what other people think. And so they adjust their behavior, their attitude, their performance. They squash their own creativity. It's really sad, quite frankly. And I'm a firm believer that everybody has a gift. Everybody. No one's excluded from the gift. Now, if the gift has been stolen from us because of other people's influence and other people's ideas, we were, raised in some kind of condescending, sarcastic squash. Oh, you can't sing, you can't dance, you can't do this, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? And we're trained to not believe ourselves. This is really tragic. Because when we do believe ourselves, when we're encouraged, now this is really an important measurement, is how we're encouraged. Now, if we're around loving, supportive parents and siblings and people that just allow us to explore, to experience, and encouraged, oh gosh, what a beautiful piece of art you made there today. That's so awesome. Did you imagine that yourself? This just encourage people to, oh wow, listen to you sing. Oh man, did you dress yourself today? Gosh, that dress is beautiful. Did you pick it out yourself? And this is just encouraging creativity. It encourages thinking, thinking for ourselves. And so often our thinking has been hijacked, railroaded, conditioned, and modified. Through the education system, what we are taught is indoctrination. We're not taught how to think. We're being told what to think. You memorize these things and do good on the test, you're going to get a pat on the head. But if you question anything of what you're being taught, oh man, you're raising red flags. You're a troublemaker. Don't question authority. Well, I've always questioned authority, always. You know, from an early child. Now, I was, you know, even though I went through a lot of abuse, I was tortured as a kid. I mean, literally, physically tortured. And so it squashed a lot for me. And I had older brothers who were extremely gifted and creative and talented. And my parents were really cool about all that. They encouraged us to just be ourselves, you know. So that was a gift. And I felt that was a privilege. And I was surrounded by a lot of creatives, big time. And so I see where Michelle says she sings karaoke, and those are fun times. And see, I'll make a point of that, because I did karaoke for a long time, years. And prior to that, now I'd always been a performer, an entertainer, musician, doing all, I do spoken word. I do all that stuff, but I never thought I could sing. Somehow I had this locked in my mind that I couldn't sing. And my father was a brilliant singer. He was an awesome tenor and band leader, and he played drums. He wasn't like, you know, super gifted on the drums, but he could keep a downbeat, and he was a band leader, so he was good. But it wasn't until karaoke, that's when I finally discovered that I had a voice, a singing voice. And so I started getting really excited about that, inspired. And after my neck surgery, I had my vocal cords damaged. And after 8 months of doing physical therapy and getting my neck, you know, to move again, all that stuff, the first time I went to do karaoke, God, it was tragic. I was so humiliated. I was embarrassed. I couldn't hit any notes. I couldn't carry a tune. It was just, I was so shocked. I was heartbroken. So I just didn't even do it again until just this last September when I left. And I went to Ashland. And, hi, Jennifer, welcome. And I kicked it, man. I after, you know, 8 months of urine therapy, I had got all the nerve damage out of my neck. I was restoring my vocal cords. Now, I couldn't hit all the high notes that I used to hit, but that was okay. I just made the adjustment. I just adjusted to it and just restored the passion. And so I miss it. I do. You know, living here, there's not a lot of karaoke. So, you know, but I do look forward to doing it. Sing us a song. We do Shivambu. Ah! I'm upsetting my set. You know, and well, thanks. Yeah. I like a prompter. I guess you're a prompter. So, you know, when we get together and hang out, Michelle, we'll go out and do karaoke. What do you think about that? You know, that'd be way fun. And it was always, you know, I had a lot of support. Where I did the karaoke in Ashland, I worked there. I was a chef. And there was a regular crowd. And there was, and the hosts were awesome. Cayce and Jennifer, these two girls, they were awesome hosts and really good singers. And so there was just love and encouragement, you know, lots of support. People actually paid attention to each other singing, you know, because you go to some karaoke's and it's like little cliques, and you know, you get up to sing, and if you don't have your crowd, your clique, I mean, nobody even pays attention. They don't even realize you're up there. You know, but when their friend gets up, it's like all cheers. You know, it's just kind of weird. So it really depends on your host and how they create the environment for people to feel loved and supported. And it doesn't matter how well you sing. Now, I learned this a long time back. I used to host a open mic in Sedona, Arizona, and it was all about the love, encouraging people to get up and be themselves. You know, people that never performed in front of anybody, and they had a gift. And so they would be nervous, and I just love them. I just support them. And the people in our audience were of the same ilk. People paid attention and loved people, and it was like watching butterflies come out of cocoons. I mean, all of a sudden they realize that they have a gift. They are somebody, and they can share the gift. And I encourage everybody to do that. Everybody. You know, discover your gift, whatever it is. You know, singing, dancing, painting, writing, you know, gardening, building. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And yeah, you're up in Canada, right, Michelle? Aren't you up in? You're in Canada somewhere? And hi, Marcella. Welcome. Lots of karaoke places here, she says. Hey, Nancy. There she goes. She's clearing the mind with the song. Oh, that's right, Idaho, Idaho. I knew you were north. Yeah, Idaho. You're in southern Idaho, if I remember correctly. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have variety. It really is. And Nancy's joined us, and Nancy's going to be our guest. I'm so excited about that. On Tuesday, with the Orin Oracles Live, we're going to talk about organic gardening with urine. How to make the magic grow. Just piss on it. And we're going to be joined with Nancy, Linda Maris, and Rosalind Hanson, all with yellow thumbs. Using golden elixir. They grow magic food, really magic food. So that's going to be great. That's on Tuesday's show. And I'm really excited about that. And yeah, on Jennifer, I wish I could have a garden. I think we're going to grow a garden here in Orientown when the time's right. We are building a compost at this point, and there's some really good spots here with a lot of sunshine, lots of clearing. So it's an idea we're definitely planning on. And you know, I always say we because you know, I actually shared this trailer with Daniel, but he hit the road. I took him to St. Louis to get a train recently, and he's up in upstate New York. And you know, Michelle, I gave my plant pea this morning. It's okay. Trust it. Trust the pea. Pea works. It does. I mean, plants love pea. They do. They really do. So I've been actually enjoying the privacy and the like the last couple of mornings, you know, just like strip down naked and do my little dance with my age urine, and it's been nice. I really enjoy. You know, I've been a loner a long time. I've lived with a lot of people throughout my life, and so I know how to cooperate and live in communal type of environments. But I really do like my alone time. I do. And this has been a busy week. And it's been fun. It's been fulfilling. It's just so much. There's been a lot of production this week. So I've been really focused on that. And so yeah, actually Monday, and I spoke with, this is a great man, Brian Smith. He's in Ireland. A really fine man. We were on the phone for about an hour and a half yesterday. And so I'm real excited about that. He invited me to be a guest on their broadcast, and when I do that show, there'll also I'll include the link. I don't know if I'll be doing that before or after, but the interview will be. I'll post that as a result. And yeah, they have quite an audience in Europe, so that'll be exciting. I'm really honored. You know, to be invited to other people's formats is really a honor. It's a privilege, and I respect a lot of respect. So, yeah, things are happening. You know, things are happening. Anybody have any questions about anything? That's the point of this format is if anybody has any questions, want to ask me anything about anything. Doesn't have to be about UT. You can ask me anything. And I will. Yeah, I had my coffee this morning. Yeah, I did. You know, here's the thing about the coffee. You know, or about anything, is that anything we're consuming. You know, like last night, Lola. You know, she said, "Well, what if somebody wants a donut?" And I said, "Well, enjoy it." I mean, you know, donuts aren't good for you. I mean, as a general rule, it's not something you want to indulge in. You know, it's not. But if you're gonna consume it, enjoy it, because if you get stressed out about it, it'll just add more disturbing information to your body. So, you know, be yourself. You know, it's not what you eat so much as what's eating you. And people do distress. They stress about a lot of things, and that's just not a healthy choice. And I have a percolator, actually a glass one, that I put on the stovetop, and it works good. Got to pay attention to it, so you know when to cut it with the perk. You don't want to start letting it boil. Boiled coffee takes on a whole new constitution. Are you a complete raw vegan? Jennifer, yes, I am, but not completely raw. I am a vegan. I do eat cooked food at times. As a matter of fact, now I quit meat. I won't eat meat, and I'd stop dairy and seafood and alcohol all in the same week. This was a couple of years ago, and so I haven't had things like pizza. But I've had pizza like 3 times in the matter of a few years. Yeah, I do a lot of rice and beans. So for the last few days, I kept thinking about pizza. I just, you know, and I figured, well, you know, I just keep thinking about it. So I figured, well, okay. So yesterday I went, and this was hilarious, because I was, there's only 3 stores in town, really, literally. It's like you can go to Aldi's, Walmart, or Bratcher's. That's it. There's 3 markets. And so I went to the Walmart, and they have this like giant case full of pizzas, man. It's like, you know, door after door after door. There's like 100 choices, but there was only one that resonated, because every single other one, this is the only one that didn't have tons of meat on it. The only one. So you can see, you know, the consciousness. They're just they're feeding their consumers. That's what they're doing. And obviously, where I am, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of vegetarians or vegans. Not here, you know. So it's funny how that works. But I did buy this pizza, and it was really actually good. It was from some California company, and it was pesto and spinach and roasted mushrooms, and it's really actually very good. And so I enjoyed it. I just ate it and enjoyed it. Now, will I have more pizza down the road? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You know, I don't do a lot of dairy. It's just not a part of it. So, Andeline, how about talking about if people who practice UT notice the hair color and the vibrancy returning to its original state? I've noticed that a lot. I do wash my hair, and I spritz it. I take my morning pee. This is how I do it. Now, I don't use shampoo and conditioner, and even when I did, prior to ever understanding UT, I only washed my hair about every 5 to 7 days, because I always felt that the shampoo was just stripping my natural oil. And so I was very reserved about doing that. And so now I just use urine. If I put any other substance on my body, it is Dr. Bronner's 18-in-1 herb oil, peppermint, and that's a rarity. I mean, it's rare. I was given that as like a Christmas gift or something like two years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and it's only I've only used about, I don't know, maybe a third of the bottle in all that time. So, and Jennifer says her hair feels extremely soft since starting UT. You know, hey Gerald, nice to see you, bro. And yeah, Jennifer, it is. It's about listening to our bodies. This is important. If we don't listen, we're not in tune. You know, we need to be at. Yeah, I wash my hair with urine. I put it in every morning. I use my Fresh. After I loop my first morning pee, the next one I produce, that's when I use. I put it in my hair. I do my eyes, my ears, my face, and then I drink through my nose. That's what I do at the second batch. And then I loop like usually 2 more times, 3, and then I just start the storage because I'm a pee factory, man. I pee a lot. And so I just added, I have 27 gallons of aging urine. Now, one of my plans, as it gets warmer, you know, this is like a false sense of springtime right now. It's just it's going to be like 60 degrees today. It just Nancy says her hair was falling out before pee. So there's a testament right there. That's a strong one. And I met Nancy. Nancy and I met when I was on my road trip. You know, and this is delightful. Nancy reached out. She knew I was on the road, and I was just getting ready to go to North Carolina, and I was packing up my computer and stuff, and all of a sudden Nancy appeared, and she goes, "Wow, I'm in. You know, you're in Alabama. I'm only 483.3 miles away." It was funny. I thought, "Oh God, this is great." And so we got in touch, and we ended up meeting up in Charlotte. We hung out for a couple days, and it was just awesome. You know, Nancy's just awesome. What a beautiful human being you are, my friend. I love you so dearly. And so, yeah, I met a lot of people on the road that way. It was really remarkable. People just reached out to me. They knew I was in travel. They knew I was in transit, and they just threw it out there and said, "Hey, I'm over here, you know, we're, you know, da-da-da." And I met several people that were subscribers to the YouTube channel, and just it was just magical, really, quite frankly. And I love that part. I love that part of my life. And we're getting new. I mean, it's amazing to me. I'm about to hit 800 subscribers. You know, probably by the end of the day, and I'm climbing close to 100,000 views on YouTube. So it's been pretty humbling, quite frankly. I mean, I had no idea when I started that where it was going to lead. I mean, I was just I was experiencing, and that's why I've done all of this. I'm journalizing the journey every step of the way. That's why, if you read my poetry and stuff, they're always in the moment. So, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of like a script, perhaps. I don't know. You know, I just deal with my experience, whatever that is. And so, and all of my poetry, which there's thousands. I have thousands of poems over decades, and they're all chronicled. And they're all in chronological order, starting from the very beginning, and they still, I keep them in a, you know, I date everything, and so I know, yeah, I can go back, and I rarely go back. I don't watch my videos. I watch them once, just to see how they go, but I don't sit around and watch my videos. I don't go back and read my poems. I just, you know, I just put it out there. Seems like you're a declutterer, and yes, yeah, I'm Jennifer. I am. Speaking of that, I have my first book into the publisher, and I lovingly receive donations if you'd like to be a part of that. I have a PayPal account. It's paypal.me/Weedu. And if you contribute $25, it'll secure you a signed and numbered copy of that first book, The Orion Oracles. And there's 104 pea poems. And I've got already, I mean, I could start it, I could do a second book easily. I've written, another mass of pea poems. And I've been really refocusing. Not that I don't have any more pea poems in me, but I've just been, I don't know, on a different track lately. It's really been about love. And yeah, the PayPal is paypal.me, M-E, with a / and then Weedu, W-E-E-D-U. And like I said, you're securing yourself a signed and numbered copy with that donation, and you'll be included in the acknowledgments. You'll actually be in the book. And so I welcome you and I thank you. If you're anybody who's interested in doing that, I appreciate it. I do. And so I'm going to go back to Michelle because it says, seems like you're a declutterer now. Now, I started this process a long time ago. I mean, my first experience in letting go is when our house burned down at 13. I only had the jeans and the t-shirt I had on. I didn't even have shoes or a coat. And this was the night after Thanksgiving in 1966. And so that was my first big time wake up of how everything can just change in the blink of an eye. Now, over the years, I mean, I had housefuls of furniture, I raised kids, I mean, I've done all that stuff. But I really don't like a lot of stuff. So for years, I've worked towards minimizing, living as a minimalist. And everything that I own fits in my van, everything. That includes, all my archives. I can, if I just put everything I own into the van, that's it. That's all I have. And I like it. I like the minimalist because, energy is energy. Now, and I used to do this professionally, okay? I was hired by people to come and feng shui their environments. And, well, you can see the trailer right behind me. It's in full view. It's a 31-foot trailer, and it has a pop-out, which I'm sitting in. And it's perfectly spacious for me. And even when Daniel's here, I mean, we don't get in each other's way. I've learned how to live in a minimalist, I live in a tiny house, and I know how to get that. The kitties are sleeping right now. They get pretty active, man. Sometimes, man, they're running track all around me. They're climbing all over me. Hey, Michael, welcome. And the kitties or something. But anyway, the point is that I know how to live in a minimalist mindset. And it's very healthy. So when I was doing this professionally for other people, the thing is, I never took it personally. And if they would just allow me to do the process and not interfere, because people are really attached. They get really attached. So if they get into the space while you're clearing their space, it gets convoluted. So if they just would let me do my thing, oh man, by the time they'd come back around and look at their garage or their basement or whatever, man, they'd go, wow, and, sleight of hand, make shit disappear, organize their things. You look at most people's garage, man, it's just, there's no room for a car. You look in their closets and they get, I can't figure out what to wear, and there's like 6,000 things in there stuffed. I have, I have maybe a dozen t-shirts, 2 pairs of jeans, 2 pairs of sweats, 2 hoodies, a jacket, several pairs of gloves because I like to take care of my hands. And I don't have I have a cutting board and a knife. I don't carry, I have 1 bowl, 1 spoon, 1 fork. When I'm on the road, that's it. That's all I carry, you know. And since I really am a fruitarian by basic nature, I don't need to have cooking facilities. It makes it quite simple. I don't need them. And I've been a property manager and a caretaker for other people's, I mean, million-dollar properties over the last couple of decades. This is what I've done. And so I don't have jobs. You know, I haven't had jobs for a long time. It's just opportunity. And it always flows. It always comes to me. Whatever's supposed to happen does. You know, I'm always being guided. Even on this tour, this journey, it just led me where I needed to go. Wherever I needed to go, the guides were telling me where to go next. And I've logged in about 12,000 miles so far on my van since I left Washington in early September. So, you know, I've had quite a time, and I never imagined I'd land in Missouri. Good Lord, I watch Michael's videos at the beach in Hawaii, you know, and I was like, oh God, I'd love to be there, you know, because I'm a sunny boy. I love the sunshine. I love the beach. I'd love to have that experience, big time. But my guides really led me to here. I came to visit Daniel, who I adore. He's just a fine young man, really brilliant and talented. And I was just here to visit, that's all. You know, and as days went by and we just would be out walking and talking, and, you know, it just appeared that this was, and so here I am. And his dad, who I met over the holidays, I have his blessings, you know, that he is glad I'm here, you know, because I told him I'm a steward. This is what I do. I don't want ownership. I don't own. It's not about ownership. It's about stewardship. And so, yeah, get a kayak and head out. Yeah, it's a good one. And so, yeah, the minimalist is healthy. You know, the more, I was listening to Terence McKenna last night, and I like Terence McKenna. I like Alan Watts and Muji, and there's several people I appreciate their wisdom. Anyway, he was talking about materialism and commercialism on this talk, and you know, you look around and our culture is just addicted to consumerism. You know, it somehow fills up empty space. If we get new clothes or we go out and buy something, you know, and get enmeshed in those things, you know, it's a distraction. It's all it really is. And it doesn't make us better. It doesn't make us who we are. It's just another sleight of hand to think that we're better because we got a new dress or shoes or something. You know, I buy things out of necessity only. That's it. You know, I don't spend money on, I'm not a big one on supporting corporate logos and those kind of things. I find that really disturbing, quite frankly, that people go out and spend $25 or $30 to wear a Nike product. And shoes, forget about the shoes. My God, the price of those shoes are ridiculous, and people fight over them and kill people for the shoes. It's just crazy. So, you know, my life, I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it minimal. It just works for me. It's very feng shui. And, you know, if you understand feng shui, it is, it's just the way of wind and water in just the simplest terms. So it's the natural flow. And you don't want to have areas of your life blocked up. You can get blocked up mentally, emotionally, physically. You become constipated, you're full of shit. And the same thing can happen in our houses, our closets. You know, it becomes dead energy. And that's the whole point. You got to move the energy around. If it's locked up and blocked up, it'll reflect right back into us. It becomes a part of us. So, Andeline says, my journey has led me to my dream job with a promotion. Oh, good for you. and I get a chance to be creative, and I will text you about it later. Yeah, UT has been a hard, it's a bit, yeah, UT is a huge part of the adventure. I'll never turn back. You just spilled your pee. Well, rub it in, darling. It's a good cleanser, even if you spill it on the furniture. Just rub it in. It'll clean the spots. I love that part. I was telling Lula about this last night. I said, yeah, I do my laundry. I clean the kitchen. I mean, it's a natural cleanser. Works really good. I learned like when it was in San Diego, and I got all this grease on my hand from handling my bike or the car or something. I don't remember, but I had like grease on my hands, and I just took the pee, rubbed it in. It was gone. It worked faster than Dawn detergent. And I always liked Dawn because it was a grease cutter, but pee works just as well, better, and you can rub it in. You're not using chemicals. You're using your own products. I like my products. They come from me. They're totally free, and I know what's in them. Simple as that. And that's why I just choose the modality. That's it. I just, I have nothing against anybody's modality. I support anybody. I always just tell people, if it's working for you, great. Who am I to tell you how to live your life? It's none of my business. And P just works for me. Works completely, absolutely, unconditionally, always. And it's free, and it comes from me, and I know exactly what it is, and why it works, how it works, and why it's good for me. So I choose it. And Michael says, I think our family had the first tiny home back in the 60s in Ireland. 8 of us in a Mini Cooper. 3 sisters in the back seat. My brother and I were on their laps. Mom in the front, baby sis in her lap. Let's see, he's got way more to it here. And Dad teaching us, Dad teaching us choice with quiet words from the driver's seat. Yeah, it's a great story, Michael. Thank you. That's awesome. Minimalist living. It's a healthy, and somebody asked me, why don't I do a show on decluttering? And I guess we're doing that now. Now I did a series, and I don't even have a copy of it because I was hired to do this. There was a woman who was hired by people, really rich people, to come in and feng shui their homes. And so I did a video shoot of her training, and I worked, I think it was 4 or 5 days. So there was several segments, and she paid me for my work. And it was, with that agreement, she owned the tapes, so I never even had a copy of of any of that. But it was quite fascinating to listen to her and watch and understand the science behind it, the methodology about it, and why it works. And it does. When you feng shui your life, it's really, it's very powerful. And it is about decluttering. It's really about moving energy. You just don't want to have stuck energy, because it will block you up, period. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and actually, in our environments. Big time. Yeah, I like to clean. I was trained that way. Trained real early. Because my mother raised 6 kids, and she wasn't going to be a slave. So we had to learn real early, how to wash dishes, do our own laundry, iron. She'd teach us how to iron our shirts and pants. And she'd show us once. If we needed, she'd show us twice. But that was it. If you wanted you wanted your clothes ironed, you better get with the program, because she wasn't going to do it for us. And I appreciate that. And so I learned how to be organized and efficient and clean, and it carried over through everything I've ever done. It's what made it possible for me to accelerate as a chef. I was very organized. I could multitask real well. I was in charge of all banquets, catering, and buffets in this one hotel up in Washington. And I'd come in, I'd have a board that would have all of the parties and their menus, how many people, all that stuff. And I mean, there were days I'd put out 2,500 meals in like 9 different banquet rooms with 5 different menus, all in the course of 2 hours. And I was responsible for the whole thing. That required a lot of coordination, a lot of timing. And I was good at it, just naturally. I was trained that way. And so I carried that over, whether I did construction, cleaning house, doing laundry, washing dishes, filmmaking, producing shows. I was just really organized. I could do all this. I knew how to multitask and not get all buried in it, and not have it get in the way of the actual task of what I was doing. And I'm not sure what ask her if you can get a copy of it. I'm not sure what that means, Michelle. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Oh, you're talking about the feng shui things. No, I mean, that was 20 years ago. That I wouldn't even know where to look. I don't even remember her name, quite frankly. So yeah, it's all good. Doesn't matter. And so, yeah, this is where urine comes in really good. It is a natural cleanser. So if you want to clear energy and, get your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit, your skin, your hair, your eyes, ears, want to get that stuff cleansed and organized and rejuvenated, regenerated. Urine's the trick in my book. It's the easiest and most effortless thing that I can ever imagine. When I discovered this, it was just like, wait a minute, what? And so in practitionering, I've developed my own sense about it, and that's all I ever refer to is what I've discovered, how I process it. I never tell people what to do. I just show them how I do it and lead them to the knowledge, and they have to figure it out for themselves, because every body is different. And if I tell people how to run their body, that's pretty preposterous in my mind. I don't have that kind of authority. And so, yes, we can use it instead of laundry detergent. I've been doing that for a long time, and it works. And because I use a laundromat, I'm discreet about it. I have a like coffee travel mug kind of thing, and I put it in there. And so I get all the laundry in there, and I just open that, pour it all around, put it in the quarters, boom, 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 comes out clean. Works really good. And you don't smell anything, it's just, you don't. I mean, aged urine, I can smell it when I pour it in, but after it goes through the wash and rinse and spin, no, you don't smell anything. They come out fresh as a daisy, yeah. Like a daisy, flower fresh. And life is like a big. It's like we're all wildflowers, and if we just allow it to be a part of our experience, we will always be blooming, always like the wildflowers in spring. We all have that magic. Everybody does. Nobody was excluded in the gift. Nobody was excluded from the possibility and the properties of how you can be and improve your life one breath at a time. It's just about understanding the tools and how to use them. When you need a saw, you don't want to grab a hammer. It's just understanding the tools, how they work, and use them. And everybody's got it. Everybody has it. Now, I call myself a healer. Now, the reason I do that is because I healed myself. Now, that doesn't qualify me to heal anybody else, just myself, and I make that clear. You know, I'm no doctor, no scientist. I do my research. I read a lot of books. I've studied this phenomena well, and experientially I understand it. UT is something I really understand. I practice it every day, and it enhances my life in every way. Every way. So, I do understand that I inspire and motivate people. This I understand. I was trained in this. So I can authentically call myself a motivational healer, because these are just gifts that I possess, and I understand. I honor myself and respect myself enough to note that. I don't deny it. It took me a long time to even admit that I was a writer. You know, you can't write. You know, it's all that brain chatter, you know, self-sabotage. But, you know, I am a writer. I've been writing for decades. I started writing, really, actually, when the first writings I ever did, I was still in grade school. Instead of, like, just buying Valentine cards and stuff, I write these little ditties, you know, give them to the girlies. You know, and I did. But the real surge really started in, like, the 80s. That's when I really started. I started taking my writing more seriously, maybe, and I was prolific. So Michelle wants to know, first couple of months with UT, did you feel pain and detox? I did a lot of detox. Detox, yes. Pain, no. I started in pain. I started in a lot of pain, lots of pain. But that pain disappeared in 10 days. It was really, it was remarkable. It was a miracle, quite frankly. I jumped right in. After 48 hours of binging on UT videos on YouTube, I said, man, what am I waiting for? And I just started. And I changed my diet that very morning. I went right into fruitarian. I just ate fruit. And I looped and drank distilled water. And between the two, I consumed a gallon on an average a day of fluid. And so my body was, it was processing rapidly. Right away. The pain was gone. My hands went from decrepit to full movement in 10 days. I stopped all the pain medication and muscle relaxers and all that stuff in 2 weeks. Now, other things have taken time, like all the nerve damage from my neck surgery. That took time. But within like 3 months, 4 months, it was numb for 3 years. My jaw and my whole neck, where they had cut me open, was just numb, just numb. I thought I was going to live with that forever. But within 3 months, everything, it was gone. It was just gone. I mean, I could feel everything again. And now I have degenerative discs. And so that developed over a lifetime. I mean, a lot. And so I'm still working on that, but I have no pain. I mean, I'll get a little reminder once in a while, you know, be a little nerve twitch or something, and I go, oh yeah, still healing. But I trust the process, you know, and that could end up being years, I don't know, before it's completely regenerated, because they were so deteriorated. They were degenerated to where I was in 24/7 pain. And even taking tons of meds and all that stuff. I mean, I was just like, really, I was fragile, real fragile. So the detox, that went on for months and months and months. And with each fast, it got more profound. When I was on my longest fast, it was just slight at 14 days. I dropped down to 144 pounds. My skin was just hanging on me. But that was 102 pounds differential from where my biggest weight was. So it took a while to get the elasticity back. Now, the last couple mornings that I've been, I'm standing there fully naked doing my age urine body rub. And I look fucking great. I do. I weigh 165 pounds. My body looks like I did when I was 19 years old. It does. I mean, it's not, you know, I'm not like, you know, build the pecs and all that shit. It's not like that, but it's toned. My body's toned. And so there's a lot of detox involved. And that's what was happening. When I was in that detox stage, during the fast particularly, it was all that inorganic material that was leaving my body, all my muscles and all that stuff. So there was plenty of it to deal with. But and it's been a rebuilding process ever since. And like now, I look in the mirror and I go, dude, you're looking fucking awesome. You know, and I honor myself by saying so. Now, Michelle says she's not done the enemas, and the enemas are awesome. And I've only done, see you, Andeline. Always nice to see you. Love you. So the enema process is amazing. And it took me a while. I'd never had colonics and never had an enema. And, you know, Rosalind helped me a lot with this in a big way. Rosalind and I were friends for quite a while on Facebook. And so I would ask her. Then we started video chatting and talking on the phone. And so she helped me a lot. She was a great mentor. And so when I finally got around to the enemas, this was months and months in. I didn't think, like I started my year in therapy in January, and I think it wasn't until, I don't know, maybe May or June or something like that is when I started the enemas. You can go back in my early videos, because I did I journalized everything in my videos, so they're titled appropriately. You know, when my pineal gland, the first time I realized it had opened. You know, when I started doing the enemas, you know, when I was practicing in the ideas of breatharianism, fruitarianism, all of those things are cataloged in the video series. So I never even thought about enemas until this came to view. Now, I've only done it with aged urine. It's the only practice I've done, and I don't dilute it. I use aged urine because it works. It's just such a natural cleanser. It works so well. So the detox process took quite a while, and there were, oh man, there were days, there were times I would have like 2 dumps in the morning, because I always got up early and I'd produce the show, and then I would do my walks. This was before I started doing the enemas. And they were building a new church at the top of the hill. It's about a mile or so away from the house. Man, the last 500 yards, man, I was like, oh man, will I make it? Will I make it? Will I make it? I mean, and I'd already done like a dump or 2, and I'd go up to the little porta potty they had on the site, and man, I was just like, blam, explode. So the detox took a while. So when I started the enemas, now this was profound, because I'd have a good dump, you know, and I was always pretty healthy, regular, you know. I wasn't a constipated type of person. So, you know, I would express, you know, and it would come out, and it would be amazing. And I do a gallon. I do, yeah, I have one of those old school hot water bottle types, you know, that are for douching and enemas and all that. They're a kit. I bought mine at Walmart for like, I don't know, $5-6. And so I fill it twice. So I do a gallon whenever I do the process. And this is where it got really interesting, because I'd have these regular movements, and then I'd be in the bath, and I just do it in the bath because I don't know how people put all this liquid in into their system like that and jump on trampolines and do somersaults. I don't know how they do that. I couldn't do that. You know, and I don't want to have to be cleaning up the floor or doing any of that. So I always chose the bathtub. I just found that was the easiest and, you know, simplest means for me. So there I was doing the enemas, and I kept coming out with these, you know, it was just these little balls. They're like marbles, you know. So I talked to Rosalind about it, and she said, well, you know what those are? And I said, well, not really. And she says, that's all the stuff that's been hiding out in the corners of your intestines. You know, the stuff that's been there for like years. And this went on, this was like in August. So this was all prior to me departing. It went on for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Every single enema I did, these marbles were coming out. So I knew it was working. You know, the deep cleaning was occurring. And it felt great. And I'd just pick them up, you know. I'd have a handful of marbles, and I'd just put them in the toilet, you know. I'd go, wow, look at that, you know. It's like, you know, it was really quite fascinating to me. And I also, during the, I did, for a short while, a couple of weeks, I was doing turpentine. I did for a long while the diatomeous earth, the silica. I would just mix that in my pee and drink it. So I went through a lot of different procedures in the detox, and I did have evidence, you know, of the parasites. You know, I found carcasses and stuff coming out. I mean, it's fascinating what you when you start to when you really start to see what your body is storing. It's remarkable. And I was talking to Roz a couple recently, and she has her bathtub filled with H urine, man. She was taking like 3,000 a day, and I was like, wow, I dream of that. I do. And I intend to, you know, here spring comes around, I'm going to start looking on Craigslist for, you know, free materials, because people do remodels and they, you know, have free materials, you know, lumber and old plumbing when they remodel bathrooms and stuff. So I intend to score a free bathtub. And then I'm going to build a deck, a little platform, somewhere that gets lots of sunshine. And I'm going to fill that with H urine and get like bubble wrap to make an insulator, so that it's going to be my hot tub, my H urine hot tub. And I intend to go out and soak in that every day. That's what I plan on doing. And right now, I don't have the facilities, Michelle. If I had the when I had the facilities, which was a luxury. Yeah, just do it. So soothing. It's so true. It feels. I did my very first urine soak baths was in December over the holidays when we were over in Odessa, and I had access to a bathtub. So that was the last time I had done the body soak and enemas, because I don't have a setup here. I just don't. We have this tiny little cavity. It's a trailer, and we don't have any incoming water. And yeah, build a deck over the roof and sunbathe, you know. Well, I want to have the photosynthesis. That's why I'm going to just get the like bubble wrap, because it works as a great insulator, and it'll photosynthesize the content of the tub, and so it'll always be like always be warm. Yeah, and I imagine it gets pretty warm here in the Midwest. You know, that the temperatures get. It's pretty arid around here. You know, it hasn't. I've been here since early December, and we've only had like a few rains and a few snows and stuff. Most of the time, it's pretty dry, pretty arid. I like arid, so I think it'll work fine. It'll work great, and yeah, Roz. You and Nancy, I trust Nancy's still here, and yeah, both Rosalind and Nancy and Linda Maris will be my guests on Tuesday to talk about organic gardening with urine, and they're good. These guys are good. So what I'm going to do with that show, it's format-wise, I'm going to bring the three ladies in on a conference call on my phone. I'm going to shoot the show on my computer and have them on audio. And I just figured that's the best way to work it. I'm still, like, the show I did last night with Lula, she uses Google Hangout. Now, I'd never experienced this before, and I'm looking at different formats. Actually, I think it was Linda Maris who mentioned to me Zoom, but there's a fee involved in that, and right now I'm just kind of stretched, you know, buying the internet and, you know, paying for all the energy and everything. It's I'm pretty maxed on how many more things I can just actually include for the moment. It's just temporary, but it's what's so. Hey, Nancy, still here. So yeah, I just trust. I do. I just have faith. I trust. I allow. And so well, what does Roz say about putting your urine in the sun? She'll tell you. You know, she does a lot of photosynthesis with the urine. I know that. And I'm sure she'll answer your question. I mean, she's in there, so she'll respond, I'm sure, Michelle. It's really a healthy choice. Photosynthesizing your urine is a healthy choice. It picks up all that cosmic ray, and it energizes it in a major way. It's really powerful to do that. Really powerful. So mine is stored in the dark. I added my 27th gallon into my staging of aging this morning. And it's all good, you know, it's fine, because that's where I can store it and do. It's right under my bed. And so I assure people, now you'd think, because it's a closed cavity, it's a platform with just a mattress on top of the platform, so it's pretty sealed, not completely airtight, but predominantly airtight and in the dark. So I lift up the platform, I did it this morning, to add the newest gallon. No smell, none, just no smell, you know, just like that. Because people get all goofy about, oh God, you know, my husband, my partner, you know, I mean, yeah, it's so icky, you know. You figure it out, you know. I mean, I know Roz, I mean, she's got all sorts of ways she goes about it. I mean, she has a bathtub filled with aged urine, okay? I love that. I really love that. And so you have to figure it out. Well, yeah, your boyfriend, your sons, yeah. My sons think I'm crazy, you know. You know, a lot of people. I mean, if you actually have seen any of my current poems, I'm reflecting on that a bit. You know, I wrote one the other day about, you know, a dream, you know, and so, you know, it was about me dying, but it's really about my friends as well. There's metaphors. You know, I use a lot of metaphor and a lot of analogy because I can. It just makes a lot of sense to me to draw pictures of process. And so that's a lot of my poetry reflects in those dimensions. You know, I wrote one last night and I posted it this morning, you know, about how can you save a drowning person when you can't swim. You know, and that's the whole point is like, unless we take care of ourselves, you know, if we don't understand, you know, who we're being and harness that, you know, love ourselves, respect ourselves, honor ourselves, it's going to be hard to do that with others. You know, if you aren't compassionate with yourself, how do you suppose you're going to be compassionate with others? Can't give what you haven't got. Starts in the core. Now people go, oh, well, that's so selfish. Well, yeah, and it's important to be selfish. You got to start somewhere. It's even like on an airplane, you know, when you're getting ready for takeoff and they're explaining all the procedures, you know, for safety and all that. They tell you right up front, put your mask on first. Put it on first. Before your children, before anybody, put yours on first. Now, there's a reason for that. There is. And when you look at it on a metaphorical level, it's all the same story. It's all true. You got to start with yourself. You can't give what you haven't got. So if you're, you know, self-loathing, you're self-sabotaging, you're just, we're our own worst critics. We sabotage ourselves. Nobody does it better than ourselves. Now, we can listen to other people and have that influence, certainly. But what happens is we actually believe them. And that's tragic. That costs a lot of people a lot of their lives. And some people never recover. And that's sad. It's just tragic. And that's, you know, if anything, my whole intent is to just share love and encourage people to love themselves, understand themselves, find your gift, discover your properties, own your property. It's yours. You own it. It was given. We all have it. Everybody. Nobody's been excluded. You know, we only exclude ourselves. You know, if we don't give ourselves permission to get the fuck out of our own way, and we're looking for somebody else to do it for us, never going to happen. You know, never going to happen. So, it takes a lot of discipline. There's no doubt. This is all sound, people go, oh, you make it so simple. Well, it is. It is simple. It's just not easy. It requires a lot of focused thought. It takes a lot of practice. You have to be intent. You have to stay focused. And this is a requirement. You just don't roll off a log and land there. You have to understand the basic nature of beingness, that whatever you think about, you bring about. It's a critical understanding. And it is very simple. It's just not easy because we'll goon ourselves. We'll sabotage ourselves. We'll start thinking in a positive directive and then we'll doubt it. Cancel the order. It just happens. That's exactly how it works. It's not rocket science. It's just not. And so taking responsibility for our thoughts is really important. It's absolute, it's unconditional, and it's our responsibility equal as our opportunity. And as we do this, we discover it gets simpler and simpler, easier and easier, because we become practitioners. It's just like with UT. It seems so weird at first because of our programming. And if we don't understand that we're the only thing in the way of our actual healing, it can be a struggle. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't need to be. For me, it wasn't that. It was effortless. It really was. I mean, after 2 days of watching YouTube videos on a binge, and I thought, this is nothing. I mean, I drank my first pee. I was thinking, drinking my first pee. I drank it, and I thought, what's the big deal? I just, like, immediately, I had no resistance. I jumped right in. I enjoyed the stream. And so that's why I glow with the flow. And I stay in the stream, and I am the stream. The stream comes from me. And I float in that stream. I glow with that flow. I recycle my aura. It's a constant. I never change that. I mean, I'm a practitioner, absolutely unconditionally. I don't fall off the wagon. I don't. I have no intention of doing that. Because no matter that I'm pain free. I've done all that. And, my body's toned. I look good. I feel good. I'm getting younger, and I know it. I feel it. But every day we're being poisoned. Just are. We are. The onslaught never stops. It's environmental. The poisons come in many forms. So I do my pee because it's a proactive stance. It's a protective field. It's my pee coat. And I don't fear. I have no fear. I trust. I allow, and it works. Everything works. My life is working. And so regardless of what anybody else is doing, thinking, saying, being, having, it's moot. It's all moot to me. I take responsibility for me. And I'm enjoying my life. Every day is a beautiful day to be alive. Now, every breath that I receive, I breathe in love and I exhale gratitude. I bless my pee. Always bless my pee. Even if I'm in a circumstance where I've got to just go ahead and, I can't hold it. I don't have any container. I'm in, a public circumstance, whatever the case may be. If I do let it go down the toilet, which is rare, I bless it. I just bless it. And I thank it. So, good question, Michelle. I'm glad you asked that. How does the urine protect us from the chemtrails and magnetic fields? This is a very good question. What the chemtrails and the magnetic fields, the 5G towers, these are all in cooperation and coordination. They're on purpose. And by design, what they're relying on is our calcified bodies. It is a conductor. And the more calcified we are, the more conductive it is. So, how do you protect yourself from electromagnetic frequencies, microwaves, barium, aluminum, psyllium, all these things that are being cast upon us everywhere, all over the world? It's not personal, it's everywhere. Decalcifying your body, removing all of the metals, the inorganic ones, to open up your pineal. They rely on this. That's the whole process of fluoridation was designed to dumb us down. It was by design. It's a rat poison. That's what it is. Fluoride sodium is a rat poison. That's what it is. And they put it in our water. They put it in the toothpaste and the mouthwash. Oh, it's good for you. The dentists recommend it. You know, why would the dentist recommend it? Well, they're all in cahoots. They rely on all these systems in order to keep a practice. And that's all they're doing. They're practicing on humans. We're guinea pigs, period. So, by decalcifying the body, you eliminate the frequencies that they're inducing into you. You become more neutral. It's pretty simple, quite frankly. And that's why I rely on my pee. You put it on your body, you put it in your body, you trust it, you put it in, you know. I don't need to wear a tinfoil hat. I'm never sick. I'm never sick. Never sick. Never. Never sick. Doesn't even occur to me. Never in pain. Just doesn't even enter my experience at all. Never. Pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. You know, and I'm not unique. I'm not special. I'm not. I mean, I'm special to me. I'm a special human being. I recognize that. I honor myself. It's not an ego trip. It's not, you know, it's just not. I respect myself and I honor myself. And everybody has the same toolbox. Everybody. Nobody has been excluded regardless of their circumstance or condition. Nobody. But everybody's different. So everybody has to address their own body. That's the requirement. That's a responsibility. And it's equal in the opportunity. Everybody has this opportunity. Everybody. So, you know, how fast are you going to heal? I don't know. I have no idea. I know how fast I healed. And it was remarkable. It was like a miracle to me. Totally. So, I just trust my experience. And everybody has to do their own experience, their own practice. You know, how long is it going to take you to heal? I don't know. I just don't know. I can't say that. I can't give you a guarantee. There are no guarantees. You know, the doctors, they're giving you treatments. They're not giving you cures, ever. Never. There's cures out there, well known, well documented, in many modalities. But curing is not keeping the system in business. Treatment is what keeps everybody in business. That's why they treat you at their practices. And they get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies. This is all well known. I'm not pulling any weird cats out of the bag. You do your research, you'll discover. It's just the way it works. This is a system that we are a part of. Now, you want to cure yourself. How are you going to do that? Well, there's lots of ways. Different people cured all sorts of things. They do it with juicing, fasting, distilled water, herbs. Man, I mean, it's not like urine is the only thing. It's a thing. To me, it's the most natural thing. It is the most effective thing in my experience. That's my experience. And I know what it contains. I know where it comes from. I know how to use it. I don't have to pay for it. And it works. Simple as that. I don't make any other promises to anybody. Never. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I'm just I'm a walking testimonial. And hey, Danielle, nice to see you, darling. She's a walking testimonial herself. She's you know, man, Danielle's got an amazing story. Amazing. Handling her MS. That doctors were told her she wasn't going to make it. She'd never walk. I mean, you know, these are the programmings that we receive. I love you too, Danielle, so much. And so if you're going to listen to these practitioners and believe them, you know, look at any drug commercial, you know, and just look at them. You watch the news, they fill you full of fear, and then they give you the Xanax to handle your fears. and you listen to the fast-talking, disclaimers, they're longer than the commercial itself because they have no idea. They don't. You're a crapshoot. That's it. You don't know how these drugs are going to affect you, how many side effects you're going to have, or how many actual effects you're going to experience, because they are treatments, not cures. And they rely on you to be an ongoing subscriber, customer in their practice. It's what they rely on. Otherwise, they're out of business. It's just the way it works. Now, I mean, my doctor, when I had my last physical on my birthday this last July, he said, well, I guess I'll see you in a year, because he knew. He knew. I told him. I was doing urine therapy. I'd quit eating meat, dairy, drinking. I quit all these things. I quit taking all these meds. He knew I wasn't going to be a customer anymore. He couldn't rely on me as a customer. And it's true. I haven't been to the doctor for any reason. Now, prior to urine therapy, man, I had lots of problems. I was at the doctor a lot. I was on a lot of drugs. I was. Because I was in so much pain. And I kept having so many problems. They just kept appearing out of nowhere. When I went vegan, this is a curious experience, okay? And this was about maybe a month or 5 weeks after I had become a vegan. And I was feeling pretty good, actually. Out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, I started having this pain in my hip. Now, what it felt like somebody had an ice pick and was stabbing me in my hip. That's what it felt like. And it was distressful. I couldn't stand for more than a couple of minutes at all. I couldn't sit. I could actually only lay on one side, the side that was in pain. If I rolled over, it would just accelerate the pain. The only way I could find comfort was to just lay on my side. Now, this went on a total of 10 days. Now, I didn't have anything to, there was no reason for it. All I could figure is that it was nerves, and it was potentially being stimulated or expressed because of my degenerative discs. Because my degenerative discs are in the lower lumbars. So I talked to 2 different neurosurgeons about having back surgery, but because where my degenerative discs are, highly dangerous because they are in the middle of the super nerve center. And so anyway, this pain experience I was having, I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't even get up and make a salad. I'd have to lay back down. And I'd be screaming. My friend was like, dude, I said, dude, you have no idea. This is excruciating. I'd never been, that was the worst pain I think that I ever had. It literally is like somebody had an ice pick and they were just jamming it in me and hitting it with a hammer. That's what it felt like. And so I went, I called my doctor. This was after a few days. I said, I don't know what's going on. This is just nuts. And so they made room for me at the clinic to come in and see the doctor. They squeezed me in. Now, I drove. I got in my van, and this is a 20-minute drive. It's like 15 miles up the canal. Now, I knew, because of my experience of sitting, that I was going to be in distress the minute I stood up, and I was. I pulled into the parking lot and opened the door, and I just fell out of the van, and I was laying in the parking lot screaming. I was just screaming. I was in so much pain that I just couldn't even, I was just like, I was going nuts. Within moments, all these people are rushing around me. I'm like surrounded by people. Now, I knew what was going on. I wasn't having a heart attack. I wasn't going through all that stuff. I knew what was going on because I'd already been dealing with this for a few days. So they're coming out with IV hookups. They're doing all this stuff. They're running around. Ambulances are showing up. And I said, look, I know what's going on. I just need to let it calm down. And I did. That's what I knew from the few days prior. I knew what I needed to do is let it calm down, and that I had functioned again in a matter of minutes. So they got me in a wheelchair. I went in there. We did x-rays. We did all this stuff. They couldn't figure it out. I went to emergency at the big hospital that was 30 miles away. They couldn't figure it out. All they were giving me was higher, more intense narcotics. They were narcotics, heavy narcotics, to deal with the pain. But it wasn't changing anything. So I finally get his prescription. I couldn't tell you what the name is, but it's a, you take like several pills the first day, then you take few, the more, the less and less and less, and it's a 5-day thing. And it worked. I don't know why, don't know how, but it worked. But this was 10 days that this went on before it disappeared. Never came back, never happened again. I went and saw neurosurgeons, explained this story just like I told you. Nobody could figure it out. Nobody. They just couldn't give me an answer. So when I tell you about pain, I know pain. I know pain a lot. My body, I have beat up my body my entire life. And I have processed pain, lots of it. So to be pain-free, yippee. Ha, 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 look at me. And why? Because I drink my pee. Now, how hard is that? It's not hard. Pretty simple stuff. Really simple stuff. Works for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you. You know, a lot of people go, well, I tried it, didn't work for me. Well, what do you mean you tried it? Well, you know, I had it a couple times, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, big mystery there. It's a commitment. You know, if you really want to have wellness, if you really want to heal your body, you got to commit. You can't look outside yourself. You have to trust your experience and decide for yourself what's going to work. That's why I say I never poo-poo on anybody's modality. Hey, if it's working, awesome. That's the whole point. If whatever you're doing is working, work it. Make it work. If it isn't working, you might want to look at it. You know, if you're just treating symptoms and not curing your symptoms, you might want to ask why. And the doctor is not going to give you the answer. The pharmacist is not going to give you the answer. It's just the way the system works. Now, you might get some clues from, you know, naturopaths. There's a lot of really healthy doctors out there, but a lot of them have been 86'd. Lots of them. Because they're a threat to the system. So, the body count's high. A lot of body bags with naturopaths. Over the last several years, lots of them. Mysteriously dying, you know. I mean, committing suicides with bullets in the back of their head, you know. Kind of curious. But, you know, it threatens the system because it threatens the bottom line. And these systems are mafias. Never mistake that. It's what they are. And they're set up by design, and they're very successful at it. They figured this out a long time ago, and we are guinea pigs. We are subjects. We are being practiced on by practitioners. And until we become our own practitioner and understand the power that lives within, we're looking in the wrong direction. Just looking in the wrong direction. So, how are we going to heal ourselves? I don't know. I can't tell you what's going to take to heal you. I can't say. I can only share with you what worked for me. And since I started urine therapy, I literally, within the first 10 days, I was pain-free. I was pain-free within 10 days. Now, I've been in pain all my life. You know, I've been in pain all my life. Yeah, and Michael said 17 months, totally pain-free. Feels so young. And, yeah, man. That's the way it is. And Michael, my first video, and when I first met Michael, he cures depression. Now, that's another whole subject. Now, me also, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I never had panic attacks. You know, that wasn't a part of the equation. But depression, yeah. Self-doubt, Yeah. Wondering what's the point? Yeah. Considering suicide? Yeah. Not once, many times. But because I had a brother who took his own life when I was like 26, I saw the devastating effect that has on people that are living. And I would never have done that to my mother, or family. Even though I'd entertain it. I entertained it a lot. Because I couldn't see the point. I felt like a stranger. I was really alone in so many ways. I just didn't have a tribe. That's why I love this community, and I love you all so dearly, because I feel that I can just be myself around other people that are being themselves and just sharing their gifts, sharing their love. It's an honor. It's an honor to know you all. I'm really humbled by the opportunity that you've allowed me to just know you. And some of you have had the real privilege of actually giving you a hug physically. And I always look forward to doing that more. That's why I went on the journey, is so I could actually physically meet people and be in their presence, look in their eyes, read their energy, feel their aura. That's why I did it. That's why I continue to do it. That's why I do what I do. Because this is the most beautiful experience that I've ever had. And that's what motivated me to create the High Vibe Tribe. I had the High Vibe Tribe in my mind within the first, I don't know, it came to me within, I put it at, most of the things that ever came out of me, they popped up when I was making comments or responding to people and stuff, and I went, bingo, there it is. Piquancy, peacoats, pisses, bliss, all these things just kept coming out of me. And so I just, I worked it. What the hell? It's a new language. And I know Rosalind, I know a lot of people work the new language. We're creating a whole new vocabulary. And a good one, a healthy one, a smart one. It's intelligent. It's comical, certainly. We all have a sense of humor about it, but it's pretty succinct. It's on the mark. We're creating a whole new paradigm shift within ourselves. That's where it starts. But once we understand it, we share that with others, willfully, freely, effortlessly. It's just simple. It becomes such an innate nature. It's effortless. And I appreciate it. I do. I do. Man, when I wondered all my life, is this all there is? Is this it? Being around a bunch of dumbed down fucking idiots with their head up their ass, spilling beer all over each other and shouting for a team that, they spend hundreds of dollars to be a fan. It never resonated to me. None of this shit ever resonated to me. I just didn't get it. I didn't care to get it. I didn't want to get it. So now I'm free of it. I am. I just turned off that noise. I just listened to the higher frequency. I like the higher frequency. I do. So I have no fear. I don't worry about the towers, the chemtrails. Now, I spend a lot of time focusing on that. Now, this is an important point I'm going to make right here, is that whatever you pay attention to, you just become of that. So if you are in those focuses of negativity and distress and disturbance and anger and rage and frustration and all that shit, you're going to get more of it. You're going to multiply it. You're going to become it. And if you're going to spend your life in that kind of sequence, it's a high price. It's a real high price for that ride, real high. And that's why I choose to just not even pay attention anymore. Now, I was a conspiracy analyst forever. You can ask me lots of questions about a lot of things, and I've done a lot of homework on these subjects, but I just don't pay attention that much anymore. And the reason why, it's a distraction. It's a total distraction. It's real negative. It just draws me away from the core of who I really am, who I really want to be, and how I really want to present myself and share who I am being. It just does. So I don't. I just don't even give it any attention. I don't give it any energy. Tesla taught us that it's energy, frequency, and vibration. That's it. Everything. Everything. Energy, frequency, vibration. So, If we're hearing white noise, get a lot of static up there, you might want to dial it in. That's why I call it the frequency, because the P gives me that frequency of frequency. It just works. It does. And I feel awesome. I do. I feel awesome. Every day. Yeah. Love Tesla. You know, it's a funny thing. You guys, when I met this charming woman, Christy, she was the check-in person at this hotel that Nancy and I checked into in Charlotte when we were going to visit Tony. And so she, I just engaged her. It was just nothing. I mean, we talked for 45 minutes before we even like signed paper and booked a room. And so I said to her, have you ever heard of Nikola Tesla? She goes, no, no. And I said, well, you ever heard of Albert Einstein? Oh yeah, I've heard of Albert Einstein. Yeah, he was amazing. He's great. And I said, yeah. Now he was asked in an interview by a journalist, what's it feel like to be the most intelligent genius in the world? And his answer, immediately, he didn't even think about it. He said, I wouldn't have a clue. You'd have to ask Nikola Tesla. That's a direct quote from Einstein. Now, I liked Einstein. I thought he came up with some great and brilliant ideas. I have nothing, but Nikola was hijacked completely. If you look around at our technologies today, they're all Tesla. All of it. It is all Tesla. Not Einstein, not Edison. These major systems that are all in place in the technologies that we use, Nikola Tesla. So people who don't know who Tesla is should learn, because he was the absolute genius behind it. They stole all his patents. They did. He was hijacked completely. Ended up just penniless. Dying alone, penniless. This guy was brilliant. Totally. And history, all you have to do is do some research. Do your homework. It's out there. Just like anything else. You want to understand chemtrails? These aren't hidden. They were hidden. They were. When I first started studying chemtrails, shit was hidden. Not anymore. You can go to the geoengineering pages of the companies that are actually doing the work, and they're proud of the shit. They boast about it. I was talking last night, I was on Lola, and I was telling her about the portageon.com. Go to portageon.com, look at their page. I mean, I posted it on my Facebook. It's pretty easy to read, pretty easy to see, and they're proud of this shit. They are, for good reason. They're merging their partnership globally, worldwide, with pharmaceutical companies because they harvest pee in the portageons. They separate it in the urinal tanks and they harvest it. That's what they do. And they list right on the page. I mean, they put it right there. They tell all of the magnificent ingredients that urine contains and what they're harvesting. They're proud of it. They should be. But what people are missing is that they're partnering with pharmaceutical companies, and what's happening is that they're taking your urine, making it into cosmetics and pharmaceuticals, and selling it back to you. Pretty curious. When you can just drink your own pee. It's pretty curious stuff. And all you have to do is some homework. Look for yourselves. That's all. It's all out there. As mysterious as everything, and everybody, oh, that's a theory. Yeah, gravity's a theory. It's never been anything else but a theory. It's never been a law. That's been made up. It's been made into a law, but it's not a law at all. It's a theory, and it always was. Always will be. It's all about density. It's just simple. It really is. It's been made complicated, but it's not. None of it's complicated. It's just been made. It's a sleight of hand. There's a lot of tricksters involved to keep us in the dark, to live in an illusion. There's a lot of, it's clever, it's smart, and I mean, I don't argue about it. I used to get all angry about it. Oh, these motherfuckers, da 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 da. No, what they've done is smart. It's clever. It's intelligent. But in order to save yourself, protect yourself, honor yourself, and love yourself, it requires your intelligence. And P is your intelligence. It is. P is intelligent. Has everything you need. It's all right there. Right within us. Pretty powerful stuff. I like my pee. I drink my wee. It works for me. I like my pee. Hey, we do Shivambu. We do Shivambu. We do Shivambu. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all just a tap dance. You know, just got to have fun. Yeah, cheers to you, Michael. Yeah. You know, I appreciate all of you so much. I love you all so much. You know, to have you here on Saturday mornings with the Cayce Kaban cartoon show. It's an honor. It's really a privilege to have you join me here. I really appreciate it. I respect your time. I value who you are. And to me, it's just all about your authenticity. And I find that the pea drinkers just have a better sense. They have another sense about them. And I think pea really helps them discover that. And once you come out of the closet about it, you know, you don't hide out about it, you're free. You know, it's no different than any other aspect of our culture. You know, you look at the whole rise of the gay pride and all that, and that's, you know, it is what it is. We can go into deep rabbit holes on whatever that all means, the transgender, the transhuman. These are all deep holes. But I'm just talking about the cause. And I grew up in it. You know, I was around during those times when people were coming out of the closet. And they took ownership, had pride. And, whoop, there he is. Everybody's asking, you know, look at that. This is Babaji, and the other one is Muji. Paul is asking about getting, why do I get 2170 on a TDS meter? I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know what you're measuring. You measuring P? You know, I don't know. You know, you look at what P has in it, it can have a lot of things. It can have a lot of inorganic materials and stuff. I mean, your body processes a lot. The detox, I mean, you know, I don't know what you're eating, drinking, or drugs. I mean, I don't know. It's a good question. You know, and I think, you know, somebody else in the, you know, in the viewing audience might have an answer for you. I don't. Yeah, I just don't. I never worry about it. You know, if you read Your Own Perfect Medicine by Martha Christie, she recommends that you don't drink your whole morning urine. I do. I don't separate it. I just pee in a glass and I drink it every day. Yeah, I see. TDS is only for water. Michelle says, yeah, and when I first got my TDS meter, I mean, I was sticking it in wine and soda and different water and all that stuff just to see what it would read. You know, it was just like a new toy for me. I have one. I just don't use it. I don't care. I just don't. You know, I don't drink a lot of water. I don't. I drink my pee. That's what I do. I just drink my pee. That's what I do. And it works for me. It just works for me. I don't need anything else. I really don't. You know, I enjoy my coffee, and I use distilled water when I make coffee. But, you know, I don't drink gallons of water. I don't do any of that stuff. I just drink my pee. That's what I drink. And it works for me. Michelle says 500 and over is a contaminated. When I had Dave Murphy on last Tuesday, you know, he was talking about it, if I remember right. He was talking about some measurement that was made in some water. They were somewhere over in the UK, and I remember commenting, I said, yeah, you might as well be in Flint, Michigan, you know. So, yeah, people that experience the and have the meters, you know, understand them for what they are, use them. I don't. You will, Candy. I love you so much. You know what a darling you are, and trust your own experience. I trust mine. That's what I do. I just trust my experience. Yours is going to be yours. You know, you don't have to trust mine. You don't have to believe a word I say. It's up to you. You know, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not here to sell you anything. And, man, I know how to sell. I made a lot of money in sales. Lots. I made a lot of money in motivation. Training people. Training managers. Training people in sales. I did this for years. I was good at it. But I'm not selling you anything except you. I'm selling you on you. That's all. Just realize you're the gift. You have everything you need, everything that's required. I'm not asking you to step to the back of the room when I'm done with my little platform to buy up thousands of dollars of you know, materials that I'm going to sell you. I give it all away. I publish my poems online. I don't ask you for anything. I just publish them because I can, and I do, and I will. Now, I do ask for donations for the book because it's in the publisher and it's going to cost me money, and it is. It's costing me money. But I'm okay. You know, if I have to carry that, I'll figure it out. I'll carry the load. But, you know, with a $25 donation to the paypal.me/Weedu, it helps. It does. And you'll be guaranteed a signed and numbered copy with acknowledgement in the book. That's simple. Now, when it's all said and done, I have to pay for those books. They're not just included. I have to pay for those books, and I have people that have donated in Europe and Australia, and so I don't know what it's going to cost me. I may be spending more than the $25. But it helps me get it published, and I'll deal with that on the other side. I'm not worried about any of it. I don't worry about anything. I trust and allow everything. It's all just a process. But, you know, I am on the hook to the publishers at this point. You know, with the donations, initial donation, I still, well, I'm on the hook for, I don't know, another, $700 or something that I am obligated to the publisher to. And they're going to take that from me, and if I fail on those payments on the schedule that I accepted and signed on to, it just goofs up the whole thing big time. So, you know, I'm committed to it. And, you know, it's a process. All of it's a process. You know, it's such a process. And I'm not an office administrator. It's not my skill set. You know, I'm a creator. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. You know, I'm a filmmaker. You know, I never even worked on computers until I went to film school. I learned that I went to the very first digital film school ever created. And I was one of 20 students that was the first graduates. And I was a 4-point student. I excelled in that. And that's why I do what I do, because these are things I understand. But when it comes to all of the details, you know, and administration and having to go through all, I mean, these things, they're like, they snow me, they do. You know, I have to be honest about it. They just do. So it takes an awful lot for me to pay attention to those details. You know, if I had a posse around me, oh God, be crazy cool. You know, somebody that could handle all the administrative stuff and process all the stuff, and, you know, a technical person, and, you know, yeah, like getting a perm to process. And, you know, I mean, that would be a luxury I'd love to afford. You know, and, you know, someday that'll all appear, I trust, you know, one step at a time. I have a, you know, I have a series of books that I've written. The words are all there. It's a series right now. There's 10 stories, and it's central around a character named Nicholas Nosey. Now, I wrote the very first one of these in 1996, and my 8-year-old son at the time did the illustrations for it. Now, I self-published that book. There was only a handful of copies. I've sold a few, but it never made it to the publisher. But now I'm talking with a friend who we're discussing partnership as an illustrator. And, you know, I told her I'll go absolutely 50-50 on this process, and we'll make a complete collection, a 10-story collection. Now, these are stories that are all in the same kind of cadence, rhythm and rhyme, that I apply with all of my poetry. They're ditties, but they're very succinct, and they are on purpose. I mean, Nicholas Nosey discovers indigenous people, Shivambu, homeless people, discovers angels. I mean, there's so many stories, and the purpose of the stories is to bring out the child in all of us. It's a sense of wonder and imagination and enthusiasm. And Nicholas Nosey is a curious one, and he looks for answers, and questions are fun. And he's never bored. He knows what to do, sorting through knowledge that he can go through. And that's me. It's like an alter ego. Nicholas Nosey is me. You know, I've always had more questions than answers. I'm not the answer man. I just do a lot of research. And Nicholas Nosey is that same kind of character. So it is I mean, I've been holding on to this, okay? This first story I wrote in 1996. Last one I wrote was just this last year on discovering Shivambu. So there's one actually about him learning about urine therapy. And, you know, when the time's right, we're going to get this book done. You know, it requires, I mean, in order for these stories to really work in the magical way, illustrations really guide the way. That's what makes children's books what they are, is the illustrations as much as the words. So I've held on to this, you know, and held it in my mind's eye, that these two, and they're timeless stories, so timing's everything. So when the time's right, that'll be the second book. That's my plan, is to have that, the second book that I put into a publisher's process. Yeah. So you have a Nicholas Nosey? That's great, Danielle. Yeah, so it's all steps, all process, and again, I don't sabotage myself anymore. I have. You know, I've sabotaged myself over and over and over and over so many times, really effortlessly. And I don't do it anymore. I just focus on the love, keep my vision in focus, you know, imagine the greatness in myself and see it in others, and experience it every day, in every way, with every breath. I inhale love and I exhale gratitude. It's just how I live. And I am grateful. I am. Yeah, we call him Sean. I met Sean. Yeah, he's a fine young man. You know, Danielle has a beautiful family, and I was privileged to be a part of her Thanksgiving experience. And her niece, Asia, cooked this amazing vegan meal for Thanksgiving. Now, the rest of the family brought all the ham and turkey and you know, all the other stuff, but her niece made this marvelous, and her husband Tony, they made this marvelous meal. And so there was only a couple of us, but we enjoyed it, didn't we, darling? We enjoyed it. It was so delicious. It was a fine, fine meal, and I felt so honored and privileged to be able to share that important experience, you know, on a day that is really about family. And I felt welcomed. I really felt welcomed as part of her family, and I thank you for that, Danielle. You're a really special human being. You really are. And I love you dearly. I do. Thank you for your gift. You are a gift. You're an amazing soul. And I look forward to seeing you again, giving you a big hug. So, God, I don't know how long we've been on here. Geez. Looks like I'm going on 2 hours now. And so does anybody have any questions? I like to kind of keep these limited to 2 hours at max, because it's a lot of process, and you know, I don't want to just I want to go out walking. I want to enjoy some sunshine. It's noon here. So you know, if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask me before I wrap up, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to bow out. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate everybody for taking time in your busy lives to share some time with me today. I'm honored, and I love you all. I love you dearly. So be happy. You know, love yourself, honor yourself, respect yourself, share your gift, and you are a gift. Just know it. Honor it. So, I love you all. Have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. Enjoy your life in every way. Always keep your peace together, and know that I love you. So, bye. Yeah. The symposium in September, Water Life Symposium, it's a gift. It really is. And it's a real great communion for people to get together and share the love. It's a beautiful thing. September 21st, 2nd, and 3rd in the Westgate in Las Vegas, the Water Life Symposium. You can go to waterlifesymposium.com and register. It's only $35. It's a swinging deal. So, yeah, I love you too, Danielle. I love you all dearly. So, enjoy your life. Enjoy your day. Spread your gift. Give it away. All right. Hugs to you too, Michelle. Bye-bye now. Thanks.